Hello, I'm James Holder. Welcome to a very special episode of Not For The News here on Pitch Football. As we know, it's international break, so we'll be focusing a little bit on England and their wins over Italy and Ukraine. The champ is here. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Hey, boys, what's happening?
That's the actual champ himself. You just walk around Driftfield with that randomly?
All the time.
Yeah. I see it as well.
I have to put it on, I have to put it on my shoulder because it don't fit around the waist no more.
Looks like a brooch. Yeah, some trinket. Yeah, congratulations. Credit where credit's due. To beat Darren Hamilton, to get that British title, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I'll never forget that fight, but I was going mental, brother. I was going mental. I was probably doing more than you. I wasn't getting the hits back, but I was probably doing more than you, mate. Trust me, mate, because I was throwing some absolute haymakers at that flipping TV. When the fucking decision came through, I was nearly crying, bro. I was just like, I built up so much emotion through the fight. It was just like ridiculous. I
just felt relief, mate, that it was over. That I've done it and it was over. Because you know, like when your whole kind of career rests on one moment. Because I knew no matter what had gone before or what happens after, I'll always be remembered for kind of what happens tonight.
Yeah.
So I just felt massive relief that it was. Yeah. I've done it. Get me out of here. You know what I mean? It was a great moment, eh?
Big moment.
Unbelievable.
Big moment. Okay, let's speak a little bit about England.
No! God, please, no! No!
Initially, the win over Italy out in Italy. First time in a long time England have been successful on Italian shores. How do we assess England's performance, firstly, against Italy? I'm going to go straight to Woodchuck on this one.
Honest, hand on heart, did not watch 1 minute of the game. I had no interest in England versus Italy in a friendly. And I'm not surprised we won either, because we beat the big teams when it doesn't matter. It matters when it matters. Major tournaments, I think we touched on it last week. England, who's England's best win in a major tournament? I don't even know who it is, but it's probably Germany. We beat that German team that was probably the worst German team in our lifetime, maybe. I mean, that's probably not a stretch to say that. So, yeah. Didn't watch the game. Had zero interest in it. Happy that Kane scored again, you know. But yeah, I couldn't comment on it because I didn't watch 1 second of it.
Knight, are you the same? Are you lackluster at the moment when it comes to watching England, supporting England, and getting the buzz about England matches?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that with England until the tournaments anyway. I expect them to get through to the major tournaments, and when you get through there, obviously it's like it's a duty to kind of get behind your country, and you know, being an ex-professional footballer, you kind of like get up for it a bit, not a bit more, but you get up for it, and you're like, yeah, like go and see the boys play today and whatever and this and that. But these games here, it's just a jar, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, give the boys a break. Do you know what I mean? Recharge their batteries and just flipping. I rate what Rashford done, to be fair. Just said, fuck this, basically. I don't know why he got laid off and said he couldn't come and whatever, but I rate it. Like, it's pointless.
Harry Kane pull out the squad, did it?
Yeah, he was in New York, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with his missus, he just pulled out and just, do you know what I mean? He's with New York. He's in New York with his missus and
how do you think Rashford feels about England? Because he scored. Did he score a hat trick and then got left out, or he scored 2, then got left out at the semi-final game? That's got to. We forget about that because we're not really involved in it. But I bet that's got a sting in that house.
Yeah, yeah. That was.
Did he put Sterling in? He put Sterling in ahead of him, was it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you look at the form of both players this season, probably makes it more of a worse decision.
Shocker.
I mean, Sterling going into the World Cup he's lucky he made it. The only reason he made it is because of form for England, probably.
There's a lot. There's a lot of players in the England team like that, though, isn't there?
Yeah, you could say the same about Rashford. To be fair, he was lucky he actually got to the tournament. But then when he gets to the tournament, I think he scored 3 or 4 goals, and then gets left out of the biggest game. So when it came around this game and it's like a friendly, I bet he thought, you know what, fuck that.
Yeah.
Harry Kane breaks Wayne Rooney's record for England's all-time goal scorer. Can you remember 3 big Harry Kane goals for England?
Nope.
That's a great shout, James.
But this is what I'm trying to say. This is what Curtis is saying as well. Like, you remember Beckham's one.
Yeah,
the 3
against Greece. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You remember the goals there.
Yeah.
Like, there's other ones, if I tapped into me, there's other ones like that you will remember. Like Harry Kane is just like great achievement. Don't get me wrong. No one's taking anything of him. Like flipping unbelievable achievement and deserved. Like we always say this on air about him. I'm an Arsenal fan, but he keeps himself to himself. He's got his family there and blah blah blah. You don't see him out and doing a great role model. But oh man, like, do you know what I mean?
Harry Kane had a big moment for England. Like Knight, you said, you remember like Shearer's goals in the Euros. Remember that? You remember the one where he smashed in the top corner against Holland? You remember Beckham, his free kick, his penalty. You remember Gaza?
Yeah.
Kane had a moment. Kane's moment is missing the penalty. And that sounds so harsh because I'm the same as what you guys said. I love Kane, straight killer, world-class player, would get in any team in the world. But he just hadn't had an England moment. He scored loads of goals against, every team. I don't want to discredit him whatsoever, but when you're thinking of England icons, he just hasn't had a moment, has he? Maybe his moment's still to come. I don't know.
That's a big point. Maybe his moment is still to come. Of which there can't be any doubt in the decision that he will leave Tottenham Hotspurs, having this season taken the record from Jimmy Greaves, taken the England record off Wayne Rooney. Surely it's got to be time for Harry Kane to go to pastures.
Can I just say one thing about Tottenham as well? Like when a manager leaves, like a big manager, you always get like a few of the players saying like, great to work with you. Da, 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 da. Like not one Spurs player has come out and said anything. Nobody said a word, and I think that speaks so loud.
It's telling.
Do you know what it is though, Curtis? It's the era we live in, and it's the manager they've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the era we live in is you have to be nicey to everybody. The manager he is, and the player he was a nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
He'd go around booting people and whatever. So I ain't worked with him, but from what I see, he's taken that playing side into the management side and put the kicking and all that into words. So he's probably hammering them at certain times and they don't like it.
Mm.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And you seen it when he came out and spoke to the press.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
How he was going on. So if he can do that in front of the world, can you imagine what he's doing behind closed doors?
Yeah.
The first training session, pre-season, they had this pre-season, Son, who's one of the fittest, they said, was throwing up.
Yeah.
And I can see this because I've worked with Italians growing up, managers and stuff, and they're relentless, mate. You have to be in like tip-top condition for them. There ain't no like, he's as time goes along, he's going to get fitter. No, when pre-season, at the end of pre-season, you have to be at your fittest. And I just think them players there, like he's even said, they're happy picking up their 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120 grand a week without any pressure, really. They ain't got no pressure. They've never won nothing. They've never been to going for anything. Their major, the most achievement they've made is flipping getting to the Champions League final when they lost that, and they was happy with it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. And you know what? Like, what's the first thing that weak people hide behind? And it's normally authority. It's same with footballers in the dressing room. When you have a few weak people and things start going against you, the first thing people look to hide behind is the manager.
Yeah.
And I think loads of them players have just hid behind the manager rather than saying, well, am I actually doing enough? You look at them Spurs players, mate. They need to have a long, hard look at themselves, a lot of them. But it's been convenient they've had the opportunity to hide behind the manager. I like Conte, mate. Not a fan of his style of playing, but I like him as a person. I like his personality. I would enjoy playing for someone like that. You know, his back's against the wall, and it's come on then, us against the world. I like that type of character.
Where does this leave Tottenham for a new manager?
Now we are fucked.
And with the players that Conte signed, they are quite meticulous to Conte's system. Will we see an exodus of players from Tottenham Hotspur? I know he hasn't signed the most players, but he certainly.
Well, who's going to take them though, James? Like we said the other day, like who's coming in for any of them Tottenham players? When was the last time Tottenham actually signed a good player? That Tottenham squad is going to be a nightmare to dismantle. Not because they're not good enough, because nobody else wants them. Where are they going?
Big point. Big point.
And you know what I don't understand is Tottenham have always got this thing about it's the manager's fault. It's the manager's fault. It's the gaffer's fault and blah, blah, blah. You had Mourinho in there. Mourinho's won everything. You got Conte. Conte's won the Prem. He's won the Italian League. Yeah? He's won trophies.
Won the Premier League.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's won the Premier League with Chelsea. Yeah? So where do you not come to your senses and say, you know what, this could be us, you know? As a club.
You know what, you know what I was saying earlier though, you know them big players. So let's say you played with like John Terry, take him for example. Would he hide behind the manager or would he call a meeting in the dressing room and say, oh, come on, let's get our shit together? He calls a meeting.
There's a meeting, and when you come out of the meeting, you reevaluating yourself.
Mm.
You're actually looking at yourself. I know the phrase is, oh, you look in the mirror, but you're actually looking at yourself and you're thinking, you know what? Maybe we ain't been fucking good enough.
So who in that Tottenham dressing room over the last, let's say, 5 years, that's been in that Tottenham dressing room over the last 5 years, would call that meeting? And also, what's vital when you call a meeting like that, has the authority and respect in the dressing room to be able to call that meeting and call people out in the meeting and say, hold on, you're not doing your bit. You're not doing your bit.
It's got to be Harry Kane. But
Kane isn't that character, is he? We just said out, he keeps himself to himself, keeps his head down. Kane's not that guy.
I know nothing.
The only other person would be Hugo Lloris, but he's not in contention with the squad now to have that respect amongst the other players.
He's not doing that
as well, he's a goalkeeper. You ask 90. The goalkeepers are okay, they're great. The goalkeepers don't have the respect amongst the outfield players because you're a goalkeeper. Just calm yourself down, keep the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
That sounds harsh, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. The Premier League have inducted Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger into the Hall of Fame. First two managers to be admitted. Great decision. Let's get a round of applause for that. 20 Premier League titles between them. No, Sir Alex may be ahead in the poll of who won the most, but it's a great achievement by both managers. What's your thoughts on them being inducted to the Premier League Hall of Fame as the first two picks? Nighty, what's your take?
It's the right pick. Probably added with Mourinho, I think. Probably the greatest managers to ever be in the Premier League. End of story, really. It's surprised it took them so long, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? As soon as they retired, they should have just inducted them straight away. So, unbelievable. For Ferguson, Man United was on an absolute downer. He comes in, he switches up the whole flip club, goes on this absolutely mental run of winning trophies and European trophies and whatever. For Arsene Wenger coming in from Japan, no experience whatsoever of British football, not even English football, British football. He wasn't even in Scotland or anywhere like that. Comes in, signs some players, fringe players that are doing well, Anelka and Vieira, and even he reinvented Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry was crap when he first came. We was thinking, I was thinking, who is this guy? Because his touch was like, that's why I know Black Magic's real.
He done the same thing with George Weir, didn't he? Turned George Weir into an absolute baller.
Bro, this is how I know some sort of black magic or some sort of witchcraft or something is real. Because how Henry, and people don't get twisted, I'm not disrespecting Henry one bit. I know he was talked about before he came to Arsenal. He was at Monaco, then he was at Juventus and stuff like that and whatever. But bro, when he came to Arsenal, his touch was like if you threw the ball at a car that's going at fucking 200 miles an hour.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
It was horrid. And then all of a sudden, it was just chaos. It turned him into some monster.
Yeah,
so
you're bang on. When I remember Henry coming as a winger from Juventus, and he's the same player.
Bro, it's not. That's it. It ain't Henry.
Now, if you had to choose one of these two
No,
managers,
forget it. That ain't Henry. They called him Henry, but it wasn't Henry. It wasn't. Because, bruv, come on, man. Look what he became.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Trust me, I feel you. The transition is incredible.
Do you remember when he touched the Premier League?
Yeah,
I never even heard of him when he signed. I was like, who's this guy? He looked like he looked like a bit of a fish on a bike. He looked like, I don't let me think of a player now. Like, you come in and you're like, not sure he's gonna make it, you know. It is really when you actually think about it, what Thierry Henry became, you could have given me 1,000,000 to 1 and I wouldn't have had a pound on it because he was not that guy when he came.
Nope.
You ain't
interesting
the best.
to see
You ain't the best at betting though, Woodchuck, to be fair. So that's
true. But you know what? It'd be interesting to see what the players thought when he first came in. You know, after the first couple of weeks, you make that judgment like, yeah, this kid's a baller. Be interesting to wonder what Parler thought of him, what Bold and Adams and all the old guard, Ian Wright, what they thought, where they instantly thought, oh my God. Yeah.
He was quick. He was always quick. Yeah. But touch-wise, and for what he started doing and absolutely disrespecting and dismantling players and world-class players as well. Remember when he went to like Real Madrid and stuff like that? And Inter and all of that, and he was just disrespecting them like goats. Like, he was violating them, bro. It was disgusting. I was an Arsenal fan, and some of the things he was doing to the goats, I was just like, nah, you need to slow down.
You know what, as well, Knight? He was kind of the first person that started playing like as an inside forward that started hitting those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because he didn't really play down the middle. He played in that little channel, didn't he? And now you get like Mo Salah playing there, and they're all playing there now. But he was the first one I can remember that actually went from being a winger in a 4-4-2 to like a left inside forward. Yeah. I can't remember anyone before him kind of doing it and having the impact that he had.
Like when you like Curtis is saying, when the players come in, when Birdcamp came in, my dad rang me and went, "We've got a player there, you know. Trust me, a player." And rare, and he touches unbelievable. Watch when he touches the Prem. Like, you didn't get that with Henry. Yeah. We need to put up, some highlights of the first couple of games he had. It's not him, bro. It's not him. Like, he came with that little afro and stuff, like, you get me? Then all of a sudden he was a skinhead and he was just like, wow. And I was like, oh my God. And he was just tearing people's ass, bro. He was like the GOATs of even the Premier League. Gerrard and them boys. He was, bro. Do you know what Henry was doing?
Is he the best? Is he the best player we've seen in the Premier League?
Yeah. He has
Not
to
only
be.
that, he was probably the most consistent for a long time in the Premier League.
It was just the arrogance of him as well when he knew. Like the time, I think it was against Blackburn where the referee was saying, put the ball back. And he was going, and then it was a free kick he was going to take. And he was saying, put the ball back. And then he just whipped the free kick and he looked at the referee. Is that okay? Like to say, like, you get what I'm saying? I was like, oh my God, this guy is like, he's actually from the ghetto.
I'll tell you what Thierry Henry had, which hardly any players have this. To have this, you've got to be special. Where no matter what team you support, you love Thierry Henry. You know, and Henry had that. Everybody was like this guy. No matter, even Tottenham fans would have loved Henry. Maybe not Tottenham fans, but you know what I'm saying. They'll have been like, this guy's like ridiculous.
Now,
also a thing that Henry had was, I seen a thing like a clip. And it had like John Terry, Rio, and stuff like that. And they was like the GOATs. They're the GOATs of like the Premier League defenders and stuff like that. And John Terry just said, you see the night before when we was playing Arsenal, I just laid in my bed and I was looking up at the ceiling and saying, it is going to be a rough ride tomorrow. You see, you got players like that. Imagine going up against Thierry Henry. Peak,
mate. What about what he did to Jamie Carragher that day? he nearly ended his career.
I'm trying to say, bro. This is what I'm trying to say. What about what he done to Danny Mills in the corner?
Now, lads, we can see the job that Arsene Wenger did in transforming Henry. Spoke about the job he did transforming George Weah. What would you say Alex Ferguson's best player transformation was? Who did he turn into an absolute monster?
I think you got to give Alex Ferguson his flowers and say he turned about Butt, Giggs, Beckham, Scholes. Bruv, he had them 4 players. Who else was there? Gary Neville, Phil Neville. The class of 92 or whatever it was, you can't just say he turned one player. Bruv, he had that squad. That was his backbone of his squad. He just added into that. So he's got a 9 players, 7 players that actually played for him, only him as well. Like Neville only played for Man United. Scholes only played for Man United. Eventually, Beckham was so big he had to leave and go and do other things and Real Madrid and blah 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 and this, that, and the other. Like, you gotta give Fergie his flowers, mate, because he took. Do you know how hard it is to take a youth team or a reserves back then of players that you think's gonna make it? Try doing that with one.
Imagine being the manager though. You sat there like you're thinking, yeah, my team's good. Like nobody knows about these gems you got in the youth team. Imagine just sat there thinking, I'm about to unleash these guys. Takes a lot of courage to do it as well.
Yeah, not that.
Like a team was not expected to do anything.
Yeah, do you remember?
They got to come in and do something. They got to come in and win.
Remember Alan Hansen's comments after the first defeat that the team got?
Yeah,
probably haunt Alan Hansen.
They got smashed by Villa, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
And Alan Hansen was on Match of the Day, or after the game rather, saying that you never win anything with kids.
Yeah.
And now if you think of where that team went on to achieve and the greatness, the base of the team, as Knighty said, there's 7 players. It's an unbelievable achievement. Where do we rank, or who would we choose, rather, in our make-believe team that we always talk about over 20 episodes to manage? Out of Ferguson and Wenger, who would be the manager?
I don't think you can. My personal, I mean, listen, they're both amazing. We'll just 10 minutes there about how great they are as managers. And I know I like to wind the Man United fans up. You know, I've said, listen, is Alex Ferguson actually all that? But now we're having a serious conversation. For me, it's very, very difficult to look past Sir Alex Ferguson for what he's done. If you're looking for a manager for a one-off game or for a season, I think Fergie's your man, isn't he?
You're just saying that.
I don't know. You two Arsenal fans maybe a bit different.
You're saying that because he's a knight of the realm, aren't you? Some illumination going on, you know what I mean? Trying to get it up to Sirwood. Sirwood Shack.
Would you wouldn't take Wenger over Sir Alex, would you?
It's very difficult.
You're Arsenal fans, so you're a little bit
it's very difficult. I personally got to say it. I've got to give, as Knighty said, Sir Alex Ferguson his flowers. I probably would go for Alex Ferguson, but it hurts me to say that. Arsene Wenger changed the game. First foreign manager to win the Premier League. People didn't know about nutrition and diets before Wenger came. Let's have it right. Maybe one or two English managers did. I'm not saying the whole system was uneducated, but Wenger does certainly change things in a massive way.
So said to 90 saying like no one knew Thierry Henry was. Like no one had a clue who Arsene Wenger was. And the way he looked as well, he didn't even look like a football manager. He looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. He just looked awkward. He comes in, he's like, who's this guy? He's going to last 2 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the rest is history, as we say.
Have you heard that story when he signed Kolo Touré?
When he smashes, who did he smash in training?
I think he smashed Van Persie. No, it was a striker. It would have been before that. So it probably would have been Bergkamp or someone. Yeah. Absolutely brutal. And he's like, I love his enthusiasm. We sign him tomorrow. Wenger just had hindsight. He didn't look at a player and think that's the finished article. He thought, what can he be after I coach him? What can he do? What can I tell him? Wenger had fantastic hindsight with players.
Yeah, but for me, Wenger improved players more than Sir Alex Ferguson did. You look at players like people like Lauren, who'd never even heard of, and he leaves like a world-class right back. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, he did it time and time again as well. Gal Clichy's another one that comes to mind.
Even
Ashley Cole comes to mind.
Ashley Cole was a legend from day. He was a legend.
Still been nurtured by Wenger though. Still had that.
Yeah. Even players like Perez and stuff like that.
I was going to say him. And Lundberg.
Like no one wanted them players before.
Yeah, even Emmanuel Petit.
Yeah,
transformed his career, didn't he? Got him to a new height.
Even Vieira.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at AC, but he weren't AC material because they weren't playing him.
Nah, he was a squad player on the fringe, weren't he?
What I'm trying to say. Yeah. So obviously it's difficult. Like,
if you think about it, Man United signed a lot more finished articles, didn't they? I know that they signed the Rooneys, but they were signing killers who were already finished to add to the base of talented players. But Wenger didn't have that luxury. He had to go out and find rough gems that he could sort of polish, you know. Lauren's perfect example of that. Perfect example. Who do we choose then? Who do you choose, Knighty?
If you've got someone to manage your team, if you've got like someone to say, you're giving someone a contract over a certain amount of time, I'll pick Wenger. But if you're going to say you're going to play a one-off game or even like a season, you've got to look at Alex Ferguson and go, you know what, I'll just go there, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And you have to. And I'm an Arsenal fan, but, you know, like, how many titles did Wenger win? 2.
So you're basically saying Sir Alex Ferguson is like Big Sam, yeah? You just hire him out for the season, yeah? You just compared Sir Alex to Big Sam.
Big sound off Sir Alex.
No, I'm saying for our Premier League team that we put together, like, do you know what I mean? I'm saying like if we needed a manager, I'd say Fergie, because I'm not saying Wenger will come in and no one would respect him, but you know, if Fergie steps in the room, it's like fucking Sir Alex there, like, do you know what I mean? Like, we've got to perform today, otherwise fucking hair dryers coming out, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'll go for more Sir Alex Ferguson, yeah.
Don't you think it's funny how successful managers, their mannerisms and ways are more romanticised than an angry manager who goes mad when the team loses, who's mid-table? He'd be branded as erratic, I guess, or angry. Where if you're winning, you can conduct yourself pretty much how you like.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have that same respect and that aura. What's your take on that?
I just think that's the same within life as well, isn't it?
Guess it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Really. More successful you are and the more money you've got, the more you can just do what you want, really. Do you know what I mean? You get the local local crackhead down the road and he starts acting wild, then it's segregated in one area and he's labeled something, but you get a millionaire that's doing the same thing the crackhead's doing and it's blah 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 and this, that and the other. So it's the same thing, man. That's just life.
It is. Same in the office. You know, your top salesman can, within reason, do whatever he wants. You know, you turn a blind eye to a lot of things. If your top salesman's acting up, or some guy who can't sell for toffee, turning in late all the time, you're on him, aren't you? It's the same in a football club. If you're the main man and you're one of the top players, you don't play by the same rules. That's just how it is.
That's an interesting question that I was going to come down to. Are players treated differently through status and achievements at a football club? Can the goal scoring striker get away with things that the fringe level midfielder wouldn't dream of when it comes to behaviour, patterns of behaviour, and decorum? Knighty, what's your take?
100%. Flipping hell. That's just like probably one of the most stupidest questions I've heard on this.
Cheers, Knighty. I appreciate that. I thought that was a great question, considering I've got the main protagonist, Knighty, here. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Like, you're like, if you like, for instance, I could just take from my experience. If I'm scoring goals, that's it.
So what? So say you scored a break.
Obviously, you can't flipping be doing a craziness and whatever. But like, you turn up late, or you phone in and say I'm sick, and you're not sick because you've been out on the L or whatever. Like, it's kind of like, oh, nah, man. But it's kind of like, all right, cool. And if the fringe player does it, it's like, fucking, all right. Well, you're not even on the bench this week. Like, and I'll be starting. Yeah, I fit you. You all right? Fucking go to the doctor, take temperature, find blood, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Liquors out the system, bang, you're in. Score again. Gaffer's like, yeah, well done, rare, this, that, and the other. Like, that's how it is.
Yeah. You had experiences like that, Curtis.
Yeah, definitely. I felt that I've been on both edges of the sword, like I'm sure Knighty has as well. You know, when you're an integral part of a team, you know, I was a captain at every club that I played for at some point, apart from Birmingham City. So when you're an integral part of the team, you do get to have little things that, you know, your second choice left back don't quite have. And you not only from the manager as well, but from your teammates as well. You know, like you say, if you've got a centre forward, if Knighty's in my team, he's banging in 20 goals a season, and he comes in and he just wants to like a little rub. I just want to fancy a little rub today. I'll go in there and I'll join in. I'll help rub Knighty's legs because we need him on Saturday.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
So we don't really need him on Thursday for the Old V Young game. That's cool, Knighty. Sit this one out, but we need you Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's the same within from management and your teammates. We all know the drill. It is what it is.
Yeah. I know you're on a break from football management at the moment. Are you considering returning back to football management in the not so distant future? What's your plans?
No, I'm definitely not. I can only manage, I feel, if I had some infrastructure to what I was doing, if I was in a full-time environment. And I'm just not going to get that opportunity. So I refuse to I don't want to sound like I'm being disrespectful, but I don't want to manage. I don't want to lower myself to managing at a level where in my car I've got the bibs, the balls, the cones. I just don't want to do that again. So I think my time's up. You know, I enjoyed it. It's been good. It didn't get me where I wanted it to be. And I look back and think I thought I was doing the right thing by starting low and trying to get my CV and building myself up, but ultimately I should have started higher and kind of tried to drop on a job that way. You know, I got it wrong. I made a few mistakes by thinking that my way was right, but I did it my way, and that's life. So to answer your question, no, I'm done.
No chance of going back, re-educating yourself, having a little break, coming back with a fresh hunger, fresh set of eyes.
No. Listen, you never say never. If Real Madrid ring me up or whatever, but you know, if a club brings you up and thinks, you know what, we got a project here, and the facilities are good, and you know, there's a chance, and then I'd have a chat. But there's nothing in and around my area where I think, oh yeah, I fancy that job, and I don't want to be travelling here, there, and everywhere. So no, I can't see it happening. And I'm happy, you know. When I'm doing the football management, there's loads of things that I have to stop doing because I just haven't got time to do. When I'm not doing it, my whole horizons open up. I can do loads of other things. So I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy my life. So to take on a football management job would take quite a bit of that away. So
what about you, Knighty? What about you, Knighty? Have you ever considered going down the coaching route to work with young players, showing them about your runs, your finishing techniques, your moves?
Just it, will you?
For what?
For the benefit of the game.
No.
Knighty's too selfish to show anyone his runs.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Like Curtis is saying, who's the local teams around here? Tranmere or someone or Liverpool under 18 said to me, come in and we've got a striking coach role. And it's full time and blah blah blah. And the facilities are there. You turn up there, and the balls are in the flipping cupboard, and the bibs are in the cupboard, and you got all your sticks and everything and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And no one's saying, phoning you, going, I can't get off work and blah 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 and this, that, and the other, and everybody's there. Then that's the environment that I was raised in. That's the only environment I know.
I hear that.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know the other environment. So I'm going to be a bit erratic if things ain't going the way I want it to go and the only way I know that it goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes
sense. So I know people might be thinking, oh, well, fucking hell, man, but they've got to start. So I understand that. No, don't get me wrong. I do. Do you know what I mean? But I've never, been, part-time-ish or whatever. Even when I played for a part-time club in Coleraine, I was there full-time. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe all the players weren't there full-time or whatever, but I was full-time. Do you know what I mean?
The lower you go, the harder it is.
Yeah,
because, you don't have things like hitmen, you know, things like that. So you might be playing somebody on Saturday, you got no idea what formation they play. You turn up to the pitch is a shambles, the floodlights cut out halfway through, and it just does get really, really frustrating at parts. There's Nonley's got some amazing things to it. You know, there's loads of good things, but once you've been in it for a while, it does get really frustrating. If you've only ever been from professional environments, you know, like I said, I was a professional footballer for 10 years, I was a professional fighter for 9 years. So I've only ever known professional structure for 20 years of my professional life.
At what step of the football pyramid does the professionalism levels drop? Where do you think that shift is from everything professional to
at a full time?
Kids. So when you come out full-time football, then when you come out of full-time and you know your striker's a labourer and he's a roofer and his roofing's earning more than flipping him kicking a ball on a flipping Wednesday evening, and he can't make it because he's got overtime and he's got 4 kids, and you can't blame him for calling you up and going, Gaffer, I can't make it, you know, because I've got to finish this roof off. And do you know what I mean? And it's like November the 27th and Christmas is coming up. And do you know what I mean? You can't go, fucking hell, you got to get here and blah, blah, blah. You can't do that because he's got to earn a living. And he's only earning a $5 a game here.
It's really difficult, when you're not in a full-time environment. When you play a game Saturday, and you don't see your players again till Tuesday, and the first time you see them players from Saturday to Tuesday is in the dressing room before a game on a Tuesday night, that's really hard to prep, to do things right. It's very, very difficult. So then it just becomes about how big your budget is and how good your players are. Go and get the best players, and they can just turn up and do it without you having the infrastructure. But when you're not in a full-time environment, it's very, very difficult.
That's why I respect people in the non-league and grassroots environment, because it's so much effort and dedication. A lot of these people are doing it for a volunteer basis or very, very little monetary gain. So I take my hat off to people all around the country that give up their Saturdays and Sundays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays to help take part in this stuff.
When I was at Mask, we had I think we had 8 games out of 10 cancelled because of waterlogged pitch, frozen pitch, and it was a disaster. It was a nightmare. Like, the facilities there are not great. That's not me having a pop-up Mask. They're doing the best. The facilities are not great at all. But the groundsman is there 18 hours a day, like slogging his gut, trying to get these games on. Because if you have too many games off down at that level, it can put the longevity of the football club at serious risk. Because they've still got the players that need paying. The players are all on contract. The club's getting no revenue in. So you got a groundsman, and I don't even know if the groundsman gets paid at Mask. I've got no idea. But he's literally there hours and hours and hours on end, just like forking the pitch, trying to make it playable. So you're right, James. The people down at non-league are like unbelievable, selfless people. They do unbelievable work for literally no money whatsoever. They do it because of the love of the game. So fair play to them. I wouldn't manage for free. I know Knight wouldn't manage for free. Ultimately, you're not there just for the money, but you've got to pay me what I'm worth, otherwise I'm not coming.
You could just about get 90 on the phone if you ain't got a check ready for him, let alone get him down at the ground. What's wrong with you guys? Are you dealing with a different 90 to me or what?
Ain't no chance, honestly.
That's sweet. Just leads me to bring up friend of the show and friend of ours, Carlton Palmer, taken sick running his half marathon. We've been talking about the marathon a little bit on the show. Sad to hear that Carlton was taken ill during the marathon, but he did manage to complete it. Don't that show you how much of a warrior Carlton Palmer is?
He's a throwback, isn't he?
Proper throwback.
Oh, I pray everything works out for him and he gets back to full health and fitness and whatever. Because he's got a nice little structure there, nice family, nice wife, nice. His parents are still here and stuff and whatever, and he's always around his family and stuff. So it's sad, and do you know what I mean? But he's a throwback. I wouldn't even expected anything else other than to finish that. If you would have told me he didn't finish it, I would have been like, what? Like, that's just him.
You could just imagine, can't you? They're like, come off, Carlton, get some oxygen. He's just like pushing him out of the way, just on with his run. Yeah, CP.
Yeah, I've seen it on social media. I couldn't believe it. Like Knight said, I'm so glad that he's okay. Carl's one of the best people you'll ever meet. When you're in his company, I always say this, when you're around some certain people, they are like larger than life characters and they're just brilliant to be around. If you're around Carlton for a couple of hours, whether it be having a drink or just having a chat, you just leave that. You leave just your life's just better than what it was when you met him. He's that guy.
One thing that always struck me about Carlton is how caring he is.
Yeah,
he goes out of his way for so many people, and he's just a genuinely nice bloke. Whether you meet him in the pub or you've known him for years, he's the same Carlton. Doesn't change.
He hit me up a few months ago and just said, like, I got me place in Portugal. I don't know if he was like throwing a bit on me, like because Carlton, he's one of the most funniest persons, mate. He goes, 90, I've got my place in Portugal. I ain't at it. So you and your missus and your kids want to go there, let us know. Get you over there. Stay there. Like, I was like, nice one. I was like, nice one, bro. Yeah, I'm not into. It's just not being used. It's not being used. I was like, all right, cool, bro. No problem. So I know what you mean. He's just like, he's a larger than life character, bro.
Yeah, he's one of the good ones, Carlton. He's a good bloke. He's got a good heart. So we're hoping that his recovery and everything goes as well for him as everything has done in the past. He's a top fella, so we do wish him all the best, and hopefully he's back out doing what he does best in the near future, minus running marathons for a little while. Take it easy. He's insane.
Yeah.
Do you know when we worked together on the show in the summer, Palmer and Helder stuff?
Yeah.
He ran to the set 7 miles in the morning, and it was middle of summer, baking heat.
Yeah, because
baking heat.
That's what he does.
Yeah, but when he turned up, if I run 7 miles before a film set, I would be sweating and in a bad way. Carlton had like literally one little bead of sweat there. One bead of sweat. Yeah, like it was nothing for him. Like, there's not many people fitter than Carlton Palmer. So that's
know what as well. I think we said this on the show before. He's so underrated as well. Is Carlton Palmer as a player, and I think it's because of how he looks, because he's so tall and he's got long legs, and he doesn't look like your typical footballer. So underrated. If he's around now, he's very, very expensive. If he's around now.
They started kind of like respect it more, because then after him came like Patrick Vieira, who's kind of like the similar. Then there was like Yaya Toure, who's kind of like similar to that, like gangly and long, and do you know what I mean? And now you see in midfield, there's a few of them in midfield, like
Peter Crouch as well. Don't forget Peter Crouch.
Yeah, but he's not in the centre of midfield, is he? You have to always throw in that Deadwood, don't you? No, sorry, not Crouch. You're not Deadwood, don't you?
Deadwooded off Peter Crouch, man.
No, I didn't. I would never do. I played alongside him, and he's a joy to play alongside, mate. Honestly,
he's a
as a
baller.
little and big man combination, he's a joy, mate. Honestly,
An absolute baller. People don't recognise how good his feet are. He's a baller.
Have you been watching the Peter Crouch? What's his wife called? Abby Clancy, is it? Or Abby Crouch now?
I nearly said.
Have you been watching their podcast thing?
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. My missus loves it as well. Funny.
I'd have to watch it.
Yeah, it's
good.
It's worth a watch. You called him a dead baller, so I reckon you'll enjoy it.
Don't even try. Honestly, never.
You need to control yourself. You need to control yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? All right. On that note, gentlemen, as always, I've enjoyed your company. Do wish Big CP all the best with his recovery. Hopefully, we'll have him on a show real soon. Love to his wife Lucy and his kids and his family, and hopefully they're all good. And just want to thank both you boys as always for your company. Pitch Football exclusively. Download our free app for competitions, giveaways, fan content, insights, match predictions, starting 11s, you name it. We've got it at Pitch Footy, Pitch Football on Android and on the App Store. Also check out the Spotify for the longer version of the show via Spotify. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Nice one, boys.